What's up, aka Padders? I am Peter A. DeLuca, another known as aka Pad, and welcome to the aka Pad's Audio Audacity Podcast, episode 204. Get ready because we're jumping into how geeks destroyed geekdom. It's something that's been on my mind for quite some time, and it's something I really don't want to get into, but I feel like now's a good time. So let's hit that intro and get to it. Babbling a little bit at that intro. Look, a lot of times when I sit down, I'm just sitting down. I'm coming in from pretty much of a unexpected wild night Monday. So if you follow me on social media, I barely posted at all. I had some Twitter responses, some backs and forths. And one of those backs and forths in particular kind of is triggering me sitting down. So usually Monday nights I essentially reserve Monday nights to do nothing and to recalibrate and to build momentum for the week. This has been a standard practice of mine for quite some time now, and there's only a few exceptions that will get me out of the AKA Podcast Audio Audacity studio on a Monday night. And last night, look, I'm a man that loves stories. I love legend. I love lore. And a lot of these stories, they're in my own life. I mean, they're in my day to day. And last night was one of those stories. And I went into it expecting there to be a story because I would say, like midwinter, we had this really crazy, gnarly rainstorm. And at the time, my residence, I spent a good chunk of time with just dealing with this ungodly leaking roof that even my management company just could not fix. It took them months to fix it. And so going back, there was this gnarly storm. Completely just, I would say it started to affect my mood and some of my work also. Not like a lot, but just enough to kind of stick with me. And one of these nights, one of my female friends, she wanted to, we had this prearranged thing to where there's this place called Topspin here in Philly, and it's like a ping pong bar. It's a gimmicky place. It's a place that all the Beckys post for the IG, and there's a tub of ping pong balls that you can take pictures in. So, with all of that, at its core, it's not really like a place that appeals to me, but this girl wanted me to meet like her family, and this girl means a lot to me, and I agree because like one of her family members won this like complete VIP package for this place, and she's like, we're gonna be there Saturday night, let's go. And we ended up hanging out like that Friday, so she spent the night, and then so we spent Saturday together. Now at this point I was getting hit with a virus severely, and it was like one of the slow creeping viruses, and it kind of came out of nowhere on the level it hit me, meaning like I woke up on Saturday and just really felt like I just had to sleep it off, and I was with this girl and I like just couldn't, because you're constantly doing things. So I went into the day hoping to almost like will it to disappear, and then what happened was we splintered off for her to like get ready, hang out with her family. She was getting some, guests to come over, and and then I would like almost like rest, recalibrate, get ready, and meet up with her either at her place or at this Top Spin place, and that just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. I just fell into a very deep sleep, and went into the mood of just like resting until I had like a full recovery. Now that's my process for whenever I get a virus. It's been like that for quite some times, but this was like the first time in about, I would say, about 6 years that I, like couldn't do something because I didn't feel well enough. And that this includes sick days too at the 9 to 5. So if you don't know where this is going, she was terribly disappointed because I got the family members were asking about you thrown in my face, and we were hanging out earlier, and you were bouncing around, and you seemed fine, and it's like like there's no comeback for that. It's you like you're just lost. Like, don't even try and argue. So that was that situation, and that night too also was like a very bad leak that started to come into my residence, and I was like sick, partially sleeping, just kind of not with it, but dealing with that also. And luckily, like there was protocols in place to quickly move things around if the leaking ever like picked up. So these are things I had in place and I had like in motion the entire time. But it didn't matter. It like the leak, some damage, things, the rearrangement, being ill, and just a gnarly bad rainstorm. It was just a really awful like Saturday weekend for me. Maybe maybe the worst weekend of all of last year. So last night, same girl. She's still in my life. She kind of came back from this big event at the Union League in Philly with family, and it was like a graduation thing. And she's so I we've been talking all day, and I'm like, hey, what are you and like everyone doing? Are you guys going out afterwards? Because right where the Union League is in Philly, it's right in downtown, and there's a ton of spots to go to. And the Union League is a very high-end, prestigious club. You have to be nominated by 3 members just to get in, and it's mostly old money CEOs, and it's a place to almost like share ideas and to network, but it's a very high level networking venture or place. So but they do events that you can go to. So I get home and I'm like, yes, like I'm here, I'm free, cause I got the message before, or I didn't get any messages to do anything. So I get home, and I immediately start the process, decompress, do all of these things. And then I did that for about 10 minutes. And usually my decompression is stripping down to my underwear, jumping on my bed with a book. The book right now that I'm obsessed with is The Power of Corruption, Caligula. And the book is just blowing my mind. Not in a fashion that you would expect, because like supposedly a lot of things we think we know about Caligula is evidence of bad PR rather than horrific acts. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. But I like stuff like this. So I just start reading, and I get the message, and she's like, hey, we're going to such and such. And I said, and she's like, but I don't know how long we're staying there, this and that. Now, this girl has a good sized family, and everyone is pretty much like, like well off, I would say. Like they got things figured out. I just wrote back. I said, I'm on my way. And so I just changed into summertime gear. Gray camo chino shorts, boat shoes, a very loose, but no, I would say very thin Henley. Not very loose. and I get out of here in about 10 minutes, take a quick shower, change, and I'm out. And then like boom, immediately starts raining. So like every time I'm supposed to meet this girl's extended family, I get totally bombed, totally rained on. But and we had a great night. It kind of went into some of the later evening, until like 11:30, 12 o'clock. A lot of alcohol, just, like a lot of camaraderie, I'll say. And for a Monday night It wasn't a full rager, but it was still alcohol infused, and like an all go no quit type night, because I don't like to slow down even around like anyone else. Like I'm ordering 2 drinks at a time, vodka Red Bull with a beer, cheapest beer they have, vodka Red Bull, and like we're rocking and rolling. And and then I spent the night at her place because we ended back at her place to continue the celebration. And so that was a redemption arc for me. I, like as soon as I saw the opportunity for me to go and to even pop in and kind of pop in quickly and unexpectedly, I took the chance. And believe it or not, the top spin night did come up. It did come up, and like it just felt good. It felt good to get that monkey off my back, because it killed me. It killed me not showing up that day. It really did. Like or that night. It's really been bugging the living hell out of me, and I'm just happy. I'm happy to even have the opportunity to make it back up to everyone by gracing them with my presence. There's some snarkiness to that, but yeah. So that's my 10-minute long story. Oh my God, people, what is happening here? Well, look, this is a part of the experimentation that continues to be my podcast. Is maybe part audio log. If you people like it, let me know. But yeah, so over the weekend, Dark Phoenix came out. The previous episode, I kind of went into a little bit of detail on this, meaning that these, the expectations and that the idea that this movie was predestined to bomb is just erroneous. It makes no sense. And over the weekend, I my big project was to completely reinforce my bed with nothing but steel brackets, because it basically broke from banging. So that was I spent like just about $60 on everything, and I still need more. But fixing things is easier than replacing them, and you save time. So on my way back, I hit this one vendor on Broad Street that sells bootleg movies, and I made a deal with him. 3 movies, $10. So I got Aladdin, because everyone trashes it. I got Godzilla, because it's Godzilla, and I got X-Men because I love the X-Men. X-Men Dark Phoenix, Godzilla King of Monsters, Aladdin as Aladdin, and got home, immediately watched Godzilla, and loved it. Loved Godzilla. Watched X-Men. Loved it. Watched Dark Phoenix again. Loved it. And I'm waiting to get into Aladdin. So this is weird, because if you go into the critics, if you go into what's happening on YouTube, these are horrible movies. The characters and the human parts are just wrong. They're not human enough. There's not enough human story in like a portrayal of humanity, if that makes any sense. And that's really the core of a lot of the Godzilla mythology and lore. A lot of it has to do with responsibility for the environment, family, and our connection to nature. I don't know. I saw that in Godzilla King of Monsters. I think the fighting, incredible. I could say the same about Dark Phoenix. Incredible action sequences. You see the X-Men work as a team and stacking their powers. One of my long loves for Days of Future Past, when the X-Men are fighting the Sentinels, and you see how they stack their powers against the Sentinels, and it's just those fight sequences are maybe the best within the X-Men film franchise. And look, where is this disconnect coming from? That's my plea. That's what I want to know. Because even yesterday on Twitter, I'm not going to name his name, but an author, a writer, it comes up on my feed, and I've been drinking. Look, You got to rock and roll sometimes there, kids. And it's just a comment of they should have, they didn't have enough time. Why would they do Dark Phoenix if they couldn't build up Jean Grey more? Like this, and that. And I wrote back. I said, look, Dark Phoenix is it's a solid movie. And the other times that we've seen the Dark Phoenix, or like within cinema, X-Men 3, Apocalypse, and now Dark Phoenix, each time it's an iteration, and there's a viewpoint taken from the comic and put into this. Now, what you're talking about is like this complete adaptation. Okay, Fox was in no position for a complete adaptation. Okay, this is their version of the ideas of the Phoenix, and they picked out what they wanted and they applied it into their universe, and they found a way for it to work. Period. Like, from my point of view, the Phoenix entity doesn't even have to be alien. In the comic book, it's alien. Okay, it doesn't have to be alien. I mean, we're dealing with mutants here. It could still be a mutation. The idea of the Phoenix is that Jean Grey becomes all-powerful and evil. That's somewhat of the transformation, like the transformation point within Dark Phoenix. But so, and he goes, well, no, it's a. I'm making more of a point on like basic storytelling, like this and that. And I'm like, even from a basic storytelling standpoint, Fox delivered. Like these movies somewhat, you have to look at these movies as somewhat being standalone. Okay, that's the only way that they exist, is being standalone. Okay, this idea of a shared cinematic universe is a fantasy. It doesn't really exist, because from movie to movie, even within the MCU, guess what? You make concessions, and you have to have a short-term memory, because there's a lot of things that make zero sense. And to me, a shared universe is simply putting one character in one movie and putting him in another movie with another character. That's a shared universe. We're sharing characters. The continuity is a little bit of a bonus when it works, but most of the time it's not. Endgame does not work at all. It's a continuity mess. It's a shared universe mess, okay? If we apply what we love about Endgame, then everyone collectively has to come together and honor and collectively love Terminator Genesis, because Genesis does the same thing to the Terminator timeline that Endgame did, but for some reason, they make the concessions for Endgame and they don't apply it to Genesis. It makes zero sense to me. So, getting back to Godzilla, this movie is everything you would want from an American Godzilla movie. I thought the 2014 Godzilla is everything you would want from an American Godzilla movie. I think Godzilla and Godzilla King of Monsters as a 1-2 punch, it's just one of the greatest 1-2 punches we have today, just when it comes to new franchises and new opportunities, because I look at this Godzilla as a new franchise. I'm sorry, I get it. I know it's an adaptation. I know I've been vocal about new ideas and like not really focusing on things that were. I want new things. I get it, but if we treat Godzilla as a new franchise, it's a win. It's a total win. We're 3 movies into what's supposed to be a shared universe, and I can't wait for Godzilla King Kong, or King Kong Godzilla, or Kong Godzilla, or Kongzilla. Can we just put the two? Do you guys remember that? The Randy Bowen Kongzilla model kit? No? Okay, that's a really deep geek reference there. And so this is what I mean about the erosion of the geek community and how geeks have destroyed how we are looking at this. And I don't want to say geeks, because I think the average moviegoer loves this crap. They just love going to the movies. I don't understand how our reviewers and our influencers can't have the same approach. I really do want to harken back to almost like a Harry Knowles, like an Ain't It Cool News love. Like an infinite love of everything first, and then a fair criticism afterwards. Okay, I mean, we need to get back to that type of attitude, that type of thinking, because the counter to that, the opposite of that, destroys the X-Men franchise. Okay, see, what the community, what all you vocal minority fellows out there, what you don't understand is that what you did with the Dark Phoenix, you have taken any incentive away from Marvel to take a shot at that franchise now. See, we knew X-Men is far off. Kevin Feige has said the X-Men is far off. But if they had any idea to push it forward, it's not there now. Okay? Because the Dark Phoenix has just destroyed the perception of the X-Men, the idea of the X-Men. And they had good momentum, even post X-Men Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse is just a stand-up good, like, super-powered movie. It's not so much of an X-Men movie. It's more of a apocalypse movie, which, the title. But the X-Men really aren't X-Men much in Apocalypse. And but I watch that movie all the time. I love it. And now we have Godzilla. Okay? I mean, look, Godzilla opened at 50 million. Should have been 75. Should have been 80. There's no adulation for what's on screen for Godzilla. I mean, and we get some of these basic arguments. It's dark, it's raining, it's this and that. Look. When it comes to kaiju, you want dark and rainy, okay? Pacific Rim, dark and rainy. Pacific Rim 2, something, whatever the heck that's called, not dark and rainy, completely lost. It doesn't look real, okay? When these giant creatures are in natural light, it doesn't look real. Look at the Power Rangers movie. Look at the Power Rangers revamp, which I completely back. I completely love the Power Rangers update. Okay? Look how that is lit. It doesn't exactly get sold. It gets sold when it's dark. For whatever reason, giant creatures work in the darkness. They don't work in daylight. But everyone on their high horse makes these very platitude arguments on storyline and characters and lighting, like they actually know, like they're applying constructive thinking into what is before their eyes, which is weird because I'm sure if those same reviewers went into a museum, their eye would be so much more critical and exact, and it would be asking the right questions if they're in the museum, looking at sculptures and paintings and so forth. They would be asking the right questions. They would be looking for intent. None of that is happening in cinema. None of that is happening with modern film review and discussion and cinephiling. None of it. And it's harmful and it hurts. Because Dark Phoenix should have had more people show up for it. There at least should have been an adulation for that movie. Same with Godzilla. But there is, hey, what's up, Dal? But there is a zero level of adulation when it comes to these two movies. And because that happened, the franchises are a little bit tarnished. Now, we're in an age where the MCU kind of has little hyper excitement. Star Wars is really the worst it's ever been. No X-Men. We're losing Godzilla. People are somewhat already tired of the Disney live-action remakes. I'm not sure what's on the horizon. I'm not. And it's a little bit scary if you love going to the movies and you love content and you like just being transported and thrilled, because I use movies for brain dumps. Like when I've had too much talking in my ear, too many sit downs, too many emails in one day, I just like coming home and watching a movie, like, or starting to watch a movie and just drift away and then, get the energy and go work out. Okay? And and keep in mind, my gym's a good mile from where I live. I walk 2 miles back and forth just to go work out. That's how I stay slim. But so keep that in mind. Look, we can still turn the tide. Me, you, us, AKAPADers, on social media. And if we really get into a critical eye and be constructive and vocal on what we feel doesn't work in these movies, but not be reactionary and not kind of demonize people for stating their thoughts and opinions, but welcoming all thoughts and opinions and applying comments with care, replying with some insight, or even admitting when we're wrong along the way. These are the things that are diseases on social media that have now affected culture. Okay, and we saw it this past weekend, because it's not the box office is not looking good. It's not. We're in summer, and we're not having giant bash hits. We're not having people like running around with their hair on fire, talking about movies, waiting to see things. So hey, everyone! This is AKAPAD from the AKAPAD's Audio Audacity podcast, episode 204. I'm out of here, but good morning. And let's rock and roll, and let's do some things today. I love you.